Sometimes when I'm going through my wood, it can be a hassle to go through and measure each and every piece to find the right size I'm looking for. I've got a thickness gauge that you can slide this in and very easily find the thickness of any of the wood that you have. It goes up to about 1.5 inches. It's nice because I can get an estimate of the size of the piece before I bring it back to my workbench. In this video, I've got 2 different methods to making one of these. I've got the printout method as well as just measuring a piece of wood out. The first method, you'll download the sheet off my website. Normally I have a grid pattern and you measure the diamonds in the grid pattern, but because we don't want to cover this up with a grid, we're just going to measure this spot right here. It should be 1 inch. Next, we'll cut up to the line on the perimeter. Now you'll need a piece of plywood that is 2.5 inches by about 4 7/8 inches. I have a scrap piece of plywood that will work really good right here. It's only about 1/2 inch thick. I'm just going to use a little bit of wood glue. If you've seen my squeegee video, I've got a squeegee here that just quickly gives it a nice uniform look. It gets it nice and thin too, so it doesn't bleed through the paper. I have a link for the squeegee in the description. They're really nice tools. I'll go ahead and add this on, and I'm just going to line it up to the bottom line there. We'll let this dry and we'll come back. We'll go ahead and take this over to the bandsaw. And there we go. The second method is just as easy as the first, but you'll want to start off with a scrap piece of plywood that's 5 inches long by 2.5 inches. You'll need a ruler and a square. We'll come to this top corner. We're going to measure down 1/2 inch. From this 1/2 inch mark, we're going to draw a diagonal. So we want to be right on that corner all the way up to that point. Now we're going to come to this side and we're going to move over 1.25 inches. Now I'll use my square and I'm going to draw a line that passes this diagonal line that we created. And when we measure this, if it's 1/2 inch, you're good. Come down to this point and we're going to make a mark at 1/2 inch. Now we'll take our ruler again and we'll put it on that point here and right over here. And if I measure this, it looks like I'm at 1.5 inches. Now at its opening, it's going to be 1.5 inches. Now from this point here over, every 5/16 inch is going to be a decrease of 1/8 inch. And that is going to be 5/16. That's another 5/16. Now every point between these points is going to be 1/16 inch. So about the center of this will be 1/16 inch. If you've done it right, you should have 12 marks along this line. Now I'll take a chisel and I'm going to put it on each one of these lines. If when I measure something, it's in the center, I'll just consider it to be 1/16 inch, either more or less. We'll go ahead and cut this out on the bandsaw. I'll go ahead and start here, and that's going to be 1 3/8, 1 1/4, 1 1/8. To use this, it's pretty self-explanatory. The most important part about it is that you don't want to jam it in there, because even though this is plywood and it does have more strength than a piece of solid wood, you're obviously going to be able to flex the bottom here. So we'll just set it in here, and right there is 1 1/8 inches. It's 1 1/8 inches. I added a 3/8 hole, and it fits on a 5/16 dowel. It's out of my way. Let me know if you're interested in this. I've got the pattern on the website, which is in the description. Thanks for watching.